Why is no one starving today? They forgot one factor in the equation. In the last 40 or so years since they legalized abortion, as the population has increased, technology has exponentially increased. God seemed to have the population problem underhand. He gave man the ability to drill down far deeper into the earth, to access more water, to invent pumps and electricity and power in more remote areas, powerful pumps that can pump water to longer distances, so that more land can be irrigated. The same seed we had before can now be used in larger areas. More ground is fertile. We have more food. There is no problem with food. There is no problem with an increase in population. In the future, there may be 200 crore people in India. Do you know this issue of, well, if we're poor, if we're big, we're going to be poor? Again, it's been proved not true. India was a third world country. It is now one of the richest countries in the world. It has a huge middle class. Together with China, the largest growing economy in the world. The Western economies, they are going to financial collapse, and they have so many problems. We have a huge workforce here in India. With outsourcing and technology, so much of the work is coming here. That may be adjusted in the future, but still, India has grown in its GDP and in its economy, even with a growing population. The issue of food, you know, the birds in the air, the street dogs, it seems that God gives them enough food to eat. None of them goes hungry. It's sorted out by nature. How is it we're worried about finding enough food? So a dog can feed its 5 puppies, but we can't feed our 3rd child? I'd say it's a false complex. Something that's robbing people of a satisfying family. You see, you go on holiday with one child. Will the child be happy or bored? You want to buy your son the latest laptop. You want to get an AC car for his 21st or 18th birthday. That's nice. I appreciate the desire we have to look after our children. But I'd like to suggest, what's the best gift that you can give to your child? A brother and a sister. Work that out. If your boy and your girl each need a brother and a sister, well, then you're going to have about 4 or maybe 5 statistically. There may be 2 or 3 girls that come first, or 3 or 4. Okay? Wouldn't you have liked a brother and a sister that really loves you in a pure way? And you go on holiday with all this gang? It's much more enjoyable. It's a beautiful thing, the family unit. And if the family unit goes, it's the basic unit of society. The society starts to shake. Civilization melts down, as we see in history. I always get someone in the class say, "Sir, you're wrong. We've got to deal with the population. We need to control the population." Well, if you try and do that, it's not working, because some people, according to their convictions, will not have abortions. And if one group is and one group isn't, then you're not going to control the population. You're just going to change the demographics in a nation. One guy says, "Sir, we need abortion to control the population." I say, "Thank you very much for your concern for the population. Please come forward now. I have a gun in my bag, and we can reduce the population of India by 1 today. Yours." No, he says, "No, sir, not my. Don't take my life, take my child's life." Are you really serious? Do you know what? No one is thinking about the population of India when they're thinking about having an abortion. They're thinking about their own circumstances, not the overall population, which I don't think is a problem anyway, because of increasing technology. Let's move on to some of the other reasons for abortion. For example, if the fetus is severely handicapped. There are 3 reasons that were put into the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act for abortion. And then for married women, 1 more, failure of contraception. And that was mentally or physically handicapped, to save the mother's life, or if the mother has been raped. All 3 of these, which I would say are the most compelling reasons for abortion, are only 2% of the abortions in India today. 2%. 98% is because the child is not wanted. So even if you disagree with what I'm about to say, don't forget what we said before. And whenever we have discussions on abortion, these are the main things argued, and it's only 2%. It's what we call a smoke screen. It distracts us from the real issue, which is, I don't want another child. I've just got married. I want to have sex before marriage. These are the real issues. And most of those are the people under 30, which is why we're introducing this into the educational system, in the syllabus. Let's go through those 3 reasons themselves, though, and see if they're valid. Number 1, obviously this is debatable. You may like to have a class debate about this in a future session. Number 1, severely handicapped. Does someone being severely handicapped justify terminating them? If that's the case, let's go to a school of the blind today. A primary school full of blind children. Get the machine guns and mow them down, wipe them out. They're blind. They don't deserve to live. They're too poor. Let's go to the slum area and do the same. Can we kill a child just because it's physically or mentally handicapped, or because it's poor? If we can't justify taking the life of a child because it's poor or handicapped, then we cannot justify taking the life of the preborn child for those reasons. If someone is not well, what do we do with them? If they are, do we take care of them less? No, we take care of them more. We give them medicine and hospital. There are many excellent government organisations and NGOs that have special school for handicapped children. And you see, these children are a testimony to the value of life. Even if they're handicapped severely, we do not have the authority to take life. Only God has. Only God has the authority to take life, not us. See, if we start legalising taking life, then where do we stop? Let's go back 70 years to the last massive disaster in the world, World War II. How did it start? There's a man by the name of Adolf Hitler, and he had a huge poverty and economic problem in 1920s and 1930s Nazi Germany. And his solution, and the first murders that Adolf Hitler did, was called the useless eaters. He took the very old people that were in hospital and the severely handicapped children that were born handicapped in the homes and in the hospitals, and the handicapped children across Germany, and said, we cannot afford to look after these anymore. We're closing all these hospitals down. His officer said, well, what do we do with the children? He said, terminate them. It was the first en masse executions in Nazi Germany. The rest is history. Within 15 years, 50 million people were wiped off the planet. If you start off by killing the handicapped children, you end up with a world war. History teaches us. No, life is so sacred, we can never justify terminating anyone. Nazis said the Jews are not really human. Many people in history have said that about one group. I'm sad to say the British, we said that about the Africans. We conquered their nations and we took them back as slaves for 300 years. Until we woke up and realised the horror of what we were doing to our fellow human beings. And we had to say, this is wrong, and we end slavery. The Africans, the white, the black, doesn't matter the colour, everyone is equal. Whether it's the Nazis or Adolf Hitler saying Jews are not fully human, whether it's the British saying Africans are not fully human, or whether it's the Indians saying the fetus is not fully human. All of these justify en masse killing. And history tells us the horrors of what happens when we allow ourselves to start en masse killing human beings.